In this tutorial, you will learn the basics of writing a Java program. There are many rules you need to follow in order to write a simple program. For this reason, College Board will be moving to the Python programming language in a few years. Students will find it easier to jump right in and start coding, but once you learn how to program in Java, it will be easy for you to learn any other language. It's important to have a notepad handy to write down code shown in the videos. Writing code will help you learn the rules and the structure of a Java program. Students who do not take the time to learn these rules at the beginning of the course will become frustrated with coding and may end up dropping the course. Hang in there, because once you learn the structure of a Java program, coding becomes a lot of fun. Every Java program is made up of one or more constructs called a class. Classes contain information stored in variables and behavior defined in methods. You will create your own classes, and you will use classes created by other Java developers. In AP Computer Science, each class will be written and stored in a separate file with the same name as the class, being case sensitive. Each class starts with a class header. You must follow this syntax exactly. Don't worry too much about what the words mean right now. Just memorize the words and the order. Public class and then the name of your class. Notice again that the name of your class and the file name are exactly the same. After the class header, we create the container for the class with open and closed curly brackets. All of the data and behavior will go within these brackets. Every Java program will start with a method called main. This method is the starting point for your program. Within a class, you can define several different methods. Methods define the behavior of the program, or what the program will do. Here is the main method's header. Memorize the words and the order. Like the class, we create the method's container with open and closed curly brackets. Within the curly brackets, we write the code to define the behavior of the method. Here is a statement within the main method to print a message out to the screen. Statements must end with a semicolon. If you forget the semicolon, the compiler will give you an error. Let's go ahead and delete the semicolon and compile our program. You can see that the compiler gave us an error. It says that a semicolon was expected, and it will highlight where you should put your semicolon. Let's create another method within the class. I want to write code to print to the console the smaller of two integers. Here is the method header. Look how it is similar to the main method header. When I call this method min, I will give it two integers. I've created two variables to hold those integers here. One is called x and the other y. We will create the container for this method with the open and closed curly brackets. Within the brackets, we will write the code to compare the two integers and print the smaller one. This defines the method. Once we've defined the behavior of the method, we can call the method within the same program. Here is a statement calling the min method. I will pass it two integers, 2 and 3. I can call the min method several different times, each time passing it two different integers. Okay, let's run our program. Our class compiled, there are no syntax errors. And here's the output when we run our program. This is our first program, was printed to the screen, and then it printed out 3, and then it printed out 5. So let's look at our code again. When I called the first min method, I passed it 2 and 3. I would have expected 2 to be printed out to the screen, because it's the smaller of the two integers. But you can see from our output the results are different than what we expected. The numbers printed are the bigger of the two numbers, not the smaller. This type of error is called a logical error. Logical errors can be more difficult to find than syntax errors. Let's find where I made the error. So I'll look at my min method. So if x is greater than y, print out x is the smaller. So my error occurred by using the wrong conditional operator. I wanted to use the less than, not the greater than. As I said in the beginning, classes define the behavior and data for the program. We can store or save information to be used throughout the program. Like you learned in a previous tutorial, information is stored in memory and is accessed by assigning a name to the memory location. These names are called variables. To define a variable, you must first specify the type of information that will be stored in the location. You can think of the variable as a cup or a container. The type of information that is put in the cup must match the type of the cup. Here are some examples. In this statement, I've created a variable named numStudents. NumStudents is defined as an int, which means that I can store integers in this memory location. But let's say I want to store money values. Money values contain decimal points. In Java, when we want to store numbers with decimals, we use a type called double. So this statement defines a variable called bank balance, and it is of type double. This statement defines a variable called isFound, and its type is Boolean, meaning that I can store either a true or a false in this memory location. Types can also be class names. String is a class name. We use this type to store a sequence of characters. We will learn more about this throughout the course. You must follow other rules when writing Java programs called style rules or guidelines. These guidelines are like MLA format when writing a paper. Your program will compile and run if you do not follow the style guidelines, but like MLA format, following the guidelines makes our programs easier to read and provides consistency from program to program. For example, class names must always start with an uppercase letter. Method names start with a lowercase letter. The open curly bracket is always placed on the same line as the header. Indentation should be consistent throughout your program. To help explain your code, we use something called a comment. Add thoughtful and detailed comments throughout your code to help explain the algorithms being used. It is easy to forget where you were when returning to your code after a period of time. It's also common for several developers to work on one program, so comments provide valuable documentation for anyone trying to debug or enhance your code. There are 3 types of comments you will use in this course. The first is an inline comment. Inline comments can only exist on one line. An inline comment starts with 2 forward slashes. Anything after the slashes is ignored by the compiler. If your comment will extend over more than one line, you can use a multi-line comment. Multi-line comments begin with a forward slash, an asterisk, and end asterisk and forward slash. The compiler ignores everything between these 2 delimiters. The last type of comment is called a JavaDoc comment, and you will learn more about JavaDocs later on. But a JavaDoc comment provides special formatting so that the compiler can create a help document for your program. Here's an example of a JavaDoc comment. JavaDoc comments start with a forward slash, asterisk, asterisk, and end with an asterisk forward slash. There are special formatting commands that you can put within a JavaDoc comment that mean something to the compiler. In summary, Java programs are made up of 1 or more classes. Classes define what a program will know, which is stored in variables, and what a program will do, which is defined in methods. Each program starts with a method called main. You must follow syntax rules for your program to compile and run. Logical errors occur when your program runs and the results are not as expected. To make our code easier to read, we will follow style guidelines and add comments throughout the code. Take the time to learn the rules now to be able to enjoy the process of coding sooner than later.